Yo, what is going on, everyone, and welcome to another installment of the MRL Fastlane. Here, covering the Cup Series at Texas. There's a lot to talk about today, and realistically, we can actually boil it on down to several key things. The race was at Texas, first and foremost, and there was 167 laps. So, it was arguably one of the most demanding out of all of them, apart from like Darlington, maybe even a couple of the road courses, because Texas on this game is a bit of a mess. So that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. Essentially, the race was, I guess you can say, there was like 5 cautions in the first half, so like up to like lap 70 or something like that. And then, so like, okay, just shy of the halfway, I guess I should say. And then past the halfway, we went clean and green. So, it was weird how it kind of just like flip of a switch like that. We went from people getting loose off 4 to people kind of getting in straight. And that was one of the big things that happened at Texas is the key, as we said in the stream, which you can see it right here. Definitely check it on out. Is that we had a lot of people practicing pit road, practicing turn 4, make sure that they did not get loose. Essentially, the people that did that did really, really well. And the people that didn't, we could see. The thing of the race was a very much who can make the least mistakes possible and still do well. And there was a couple championship implications with this race. Very weird, I will say, very unbecoming of one of the championship contenders who has up to this point had a borderline flawless, of course, a couple dips, and we're going to get to that here in a second. But one person, the other championship contender, back to form. And I think by me just describing it, kind of showed who I'm talking about. So let's just kind of dive straight into it. First and foremost, the qualifying. Chicken Eater. His third start of the season. Very talented. Wish he could have raced full time. Honestly, that's just my opinion. To kind of show how he would stack on up with the points. But he took pole. And because of that, knocked Brandon down to another P2 starting position. There was a running joke about that. Cyber P3, where he has been most of the season. If he has not qualified anywhere else but P3, it's actually uncommon. BD with one of his best starting spots of the season. Usually he's a little bit farther back, like 6th or 7th, but still 4th is pretty good. Cade as well up here. Goose, US Trek Enterprise, Nathan, Agent Orange, Liam, Shackett, Worst Cod, Xander, not putting in time. Bold strategy here. And Packers moving up to P12. Piper, the top 13 actually showed up. So this right here, so no one took last place points, even though that's there as a safety net. And the 13 drivers was actually able to ride. There we go. Bass did not show up. UK did. Tiber didn't. Rockstar did, as you can see right here. Jagger. Bush fan making his return to MRL. Starting in P17 because of the people that didn't show up. Put Joe here for his third instance right now. That is 18th, and then Hunty in P19. So excellent, good sized field. One of the biggest field of the season. Is that Texas? Weirdly enough. But like I said, it's about a matter of making sure the least amount of mistakes is made. And I'm just going to show you exactly what I mean, because you can see it in turn 1. It's going to be just a rinse and repeat pattern. The idea of the race essentially was I wanted to go on board with Xander because he was in mid-pack. He told me essentially, there's some fun in moving forward. However, he also got into himself some reckless situations. And because of that, he did not make a lot of friends. And that was actually one of the things. By the way, I want to point out, thank you so much for BS BS14 cars, our combined series champion, to come up here in the booth. Also, Chicken Eater was the in-race reporter, so thank you guys so much for doing what you guys did. So we had a blast commentating with them, and that was amazing. But yeah, you can see that 3 wide coming off of 4, but you can just see immediately how loose people can get with people kind of swerving like that. That was the key of the race. Some people are able to control it, some people can't, and and just because of that, we have a lot of people that potentially got into situations that they did not need to be in. So that's just a recurring theme, but you can see that with normal draft, just how much of a draft you guys are getting. And turn 3 was a big overtaking zone right there. People kind of getting nudged out of the way. Right there, that's another one. So that's just making my argument right now, but you can see that it's very, very close, is what I'll say. So we're going to kind of skip ahead a little bit. This is after we had our first caution of the race. And roughly, weirdly enough, the cautions have been coming out like 10 laps. So like you'd go 10 laps in green, and then you would not, and then get a caution, and then 10 laps, and then caution. Someone didn't go right here. Looks like the 20 did not go, or someone had a lag spike or something like that. But yeah, you can see, just with the cautions kind of restacking the field, just how intense and how just one mistake right there. The 41 of Justin Shackett moves on up the track. He didn't even get hit, honestly. Like, look at that. See, he just missed the corner and just went all the way up. But because of that opened the door for Xander, and just how close 3 wide can get. You can see that Nathan got loose up there. A lot of people now are still in 3 wide in the quad oval. It was a mess for the drivers to try to go through, but they did some good job. And this was well, I thought was going to be the second caution, but Goose was only a 1-car incident, so he continues on. But you can see that the people with the fast cars made their way forward. You have Xander in the lead, Chicken, Cyber, UK, Hunty, Rockstar on the bottom. Beatty being the only one up top, and you did not want to be up there. The top was a very lonesome road. And if you're up there, you have no help because no one wants to be up there. So because of that, that is why. So, yeah, moving forward, we have a very interesting development here. Just how aggressive people were, and just you guys can get the run here. There gonna be some here going into turn 3, people making the move, Cyber looking down low, showing that he wants it, but Cyber actually, I'm making sure that he kind of backs on off because Chicken himself is going for it. Beatty's looking to the top side here. But yeah, just how aggressive people were. We're going to kind of skip ahead a little bit here as soon as it loads. There we go. Quick shake-up of the running order a little bit. Cyber's now back to P5. Xander's still leading, and I think we should be coming up on the next caution here in a hot second, as Packers also got into an incident. Essentially, we're going to kind of skip ahead to the caution-free zone, which I think was like right here. Yeah. Yes. Kind of showing that people were not agreeing with each other out there, just how aggressive people were. And I always said that just because you have a run doesn't mean you need to take it. Right there, Jagger blocking and putting Brandon down low. Brandon saying, "I'm here, bud," forces his way back up. That's what I'm saying. Don't not make friends. That's the thing. What you reap is what you sow. So, and people getting loose, people getting knocked out of the way. You can see it going into this turn right here. The 14 is setting up a run here, going to this corner. People are already blocking low. BD and P2 right now. Very good run from him right now. Piper is the first one out of this race, but you can see it right there that they are actually 2x2. I'm sorry, I wish I Yep, right there. Because Xander actually made a mistake, and he is now up and in that lonesome road right there. Everyone just freight training him on the bottom. That's, like I said, that's not where you want to be. The 18 deciding to look high to see if there's anything that can be done, but I don't think there is, honestly. Skipping ahead a little bit here. BD now gets his first lap sled of the race. Very good job from him. And we're going to kind of skip ahead a little bit. The mistakes I'm talking about now at this point as we are going green is getting onto pit road speeding penalties, as well as just plain old mistakes of bouncing off the apron. The apron was so strong. The 19 right here, hang on, this is our first pit stop, spins it, bends it, does a 360, there we go. Mistakes. Yes, he's still in it. He didn't speed because of it, but that's time loss. And that's just essentially his strategy was undercutting everyone in order to move forward. And eventually he made his way up to like P5. But the thing is, if he didn't spin right there, that could have been like, shoot, a P3, a P4, you know, just a little bit. And with no stages, who knows what would happen, you know? So, of course, you have the top three kind of splitting away right now. You have Rockstar up in the lead. Chicken in P2. Again, he's also our in-race supporter. So, again, thank you so much. Joe a little bit back here. And pit stops are bound to happen. That's why I'm still on board with it. We're going to kind of skip ahead to the official pit stops for these guys. And, of course, looking down low, and you can see what... like I said, the rule is put at least 2 tires below the apron right there. That's what Cyber did. So that means Cyber's going to be pitting this time. The 88 has to give room because, of course, getting on pit road is literally on the bottom of the track. The 88 deciding to go on down as well. The 8 getting a little bit of ground on these guys. The 1 as well pitting with that. That is, you see the Packers right there. Mistakes. The people making sure that they can actually make it like that, fantastic. You know, if you can actually get out and away with getting on pit road super aggressively because you have such a low brake bias, that's insane. Anywho, but you can see right now that this is just the name of the game. Green flag pit stops are happening. And one thing I want to point on out as Xander has made a critical mistake. At this point in the run, Xander has went from the lead in like the top pack, and people were, yes, being aggressive, but this was actually a mistake of his own. He clobbered the wall, and because of that, kept on making mistakes, and he eventually got knocked all the way down to like 13th or 12th, something like that. And then to combine that, he got a pit road speeding penalty. So, Xander had a very rough run here at Texas, and that is not what he wanted right now because he was already in a very not so close points battle where he needed to have a good day. However, because of that, Cyber running in P2, P3 at the moment, he is now well within striking range of taking the title. BD here is in P4 at the moment, and you can see that Xander's a lap down. Goose at this point is running in the top 10, so good run from him right now. However, you can kind of see as we move on. I think I actually, right here. The 1, that's just what I'm talking about. When I've noticed from Xander that when he makes a few mistakes, he gets into his own head right there. So what he's going to do is he's going to kind of come on down, and because of that, he essentially takes himself out of the running for this race. And you know, sometimes that's how it happens. The 20 gets wrecked right there, but that was not a caution. That's because someone got in someone got into him, honestly. I forget who it was. There was another incident with the 20 with Piper getting loose and coming up on the track, but Piper at this point has already left, so I actually forget what happened there. Joe at this point is leading the race by virtue of undercutting his way to the lead. Joe is now the leader here and in the best position to get a race win right now. But we are going to see how and what exactly happens here. We see BD now in P5, kind of moving forward a little bit. You can see that the top field is starting to really get away. Here is the... ooh, that was really close. That was... so essentially, this was Nathan on one of his outlaps, and the 22 already being there. Realistically, the 22 did not have to give up that position. That's one thing I wanted to point to with people not making friends. Is realistically, that was not his position to give on up. The 19, if anything, should have gone to the top side because BD did have the lane, yes, but he was on his outlap. You can see the 00 though. He is out of fuel, so he is trying to move forward. The 88 right here. Good thing we were on it. Blend line violation. We have not seen this for some time, but ever since Vegas with BD, actually to be exact, but the blend line rule is always in effect, and despite no one really coming up and blatantly showing that they have been using the blend line, people have been following it ever since that race. So because of that, the 88 is being called for a drive-through right now. So that is one of the things that he is going to be dealing with. He eventually does it, but because of that, he ends up leaving the race because he realizes that he is no longer in the running. 14 of Cyber hits the wall a little bit. You can see that there is now, I do believe, 2 laps difference because the leaders right here, Xander's right behind. So that I think Xander technically is 2 laps down right now, looking to get 1 lap down. But essentially, this ideally would have been a championship right here. The 14 of Cyber with Xander right behind. But that's sometimes how the cookie crumbles. Moving forward, mistakes are still abound right now. The 4 of Joe sped on pit road. So now he is out of the running for the lead, getting loose as well. The 17 of Brandon moving forward after having a rough middle section of this race. He kind of got shuffled on back, and he's now moving forward yet again. And now going through the end, towards the end of the race, because really most of it was the same thing. We had the 8 go out and win the dang thing from the first part of the race. And actually, you can see that Nathan got marred too far back early, and then, well, that's because of the contact. Then had pit decisions that made the race harder. Yes, but he undercut his way up to P5 from 15th, but he had a pit road speeding penalty. So because of that, Chicken will end up winning the race. Cyber in P2. BD comes for the first podium of the race. And actually, there was actually a funny instance with this, with the with this race right here with Liam. Liam did not have a good race. Tansby Vegas, I should clarify. But yeah. So to kind of go through the running order, we have Chicken in P1, Cyber in P2, doing exactly what he needed to do. BD scoring his first MRL Cup podium. Packers in P4, Joe P5, Brandon P6, Bush P7, having a very quiet day in the solid top 10. Goose P8, 9th is UK, another instance of a pit road speeding penalty. 10th is Xander, rebounding for a top 10. However, his championship is essentially done. Cade P11, trying to rebound as much as he could right there, but again, another instance of coulda, shoulda, woulda. Justin Shack at P12. Hunty ran out of fuel, lost 2 laps, P13. Worstcott P14. Liam P15. Jagger P16. Then we go to the non-finishers of Nathan, Rockstar, and Piper, 17th, 18th, and 19th respectively. So because of that, you can actually see how that changes the race real quick. Because of all of this right here, the overall stats now kind of shake on up. The average finish now becomes so close. Technically, even though Bass has not ran the full season, he has technically the best. However, in terms of the two championship rivals, it's these two right here. However, the points say it all. And for all intents and purposes, the championship is wrapped up. Realistically, unless, like, everyone in the league shows up, we have a full 40-car field, which I wouldn't even allow, honestly. The championship is locked up. Cyber, the only way he loses this, and thanks to BS for doing all the math on this, is the only way if he loses this is if he does not show up and does not put in a lap. That's the only way. And Xander shows up. That's the only way that Cyber gets virtue. Because even if Cyber puts in last place points, and we have around the same number of people, let's just say 19. That's 106 points for 19th. And Xander goes out and wins. That's 180. Most he would gain is 74 points on his rival. And that would put the gap down to 50. And here we are. Yet again. So, because of that, this championship is essentially locked up. This is Cyber's championship to lose, and everything is in his own hands, lest it be a last place points, or even just not showing up, or just showing up and just riding around. You know, that's all you need to do. He's the champion. Congrats. BD, Salado, and P3. Unfortunately, from BD's perspective, he's not near enough to grab a P2, and he's far enough ahead to grab P4, so he's kind of in a lonely battle right now. Brandon, though, still in a battle technically with Goose right here in P5. Packers, same thing as BD, kind of in between right here. Probably can snooker a P5 out of it, shouldn't, depending on where these two finish, but we'll see. However, though, the real battle is these three right here, 7th, 8th, and 9th, with Cade, Nathan, and Piper. That is the weird situation that we find ourselves in with Winston Cup formats, that there's always positions and points to be earned. Same thing, though, with UK. He's going to find himself P10 in points. Same thing with Bass. He's going to find himself P11 in points. Also, another battle that is also really done his worst COD, though, doing exactly what he needed to the entire season, finding himself P12 in points. Shackett, Liam, and T-Bird. The battle's on for Shaq and Liam. However, 20 points separates them. T-Bird's going to find himself in 15th in points. He's not going to fall out of the top 15, nor is he going to gain a spot, so he's going to end up 15th in points. But, as you can see right now, the top 15 are locked. There's no way that Rockstar in any imagination can gain 180 points, or sorry, 200 points on T-Bird. So the top 15 is going to be our cup field for next season. So, round of applause. Round of applause. So because of that, we have everyone else that's going to get relegated. Even, like I said, I do wish to see how Chicken would have fared. Same thing with Joe, Rockstar even. Rockstar showed up more, and he was on the cusp, but he took a break. I wanted to see how these guys would look full-time, but we'll see. Especially Hunty as well. Hunty, he's going to be doing one more race with us as a cup driver, and he's going to be doing his best to gain one more spot, because realistically that's what he can... well, actually, depending on how many people show up, he can probably get to 23rd, maybe. But yeah, I do wish to kind of see how these would have turned out in terms of full-time drivers. But moving on to the stats, so congrats to the Cup field as well as essentially the title. Again, it's not over until Cyber does or does not show up. We'll see though. But in terms of the stats, though, like I said previously, how close the championship would be. And I've said this time and time again, if Xander showed up and put in a lap for Charlotte, because he did not put in a lap right here for that race, and that's really the only race that he's missed. And actually, let's do the math on that right now. So I'm gonna pull up my handy dandy calculator. I'm gonna roll back time to the Charlotte race, and we had a whopping 20 people in that race, meaning you would have had 103 with 100 points gained for putting in last place points. So 20 people, that's with people putting in a last place points as well as just showing up. So if he would have just did that and just say it was the worst time, he did like a 23-minute lap, just setting in a time, that's 100 points. Okay? So that's 100 points. Looking at where he would be 28 points out. Technically, he would have had the point lead and then lost it at Texas with his mistake. So, it would have been close. But that's why we have the value of last place points. It's a safety net to make sure that, if life gets in the way, you're not being punished for it. But the choice is on them for not putting in a lap, and we can see how that decision is being made. But ultimately, though, solid season. We have one more race left in season 0, and then we're going to the Dash for Cash season. If you guys are curious on how that works, essentially, after the season ends, we're going immediately into a for fun season. With prizing. A winner gets a $30 PayPal reward. P2 gets $15, and P3 gets $5 for their trouble in points. So technically, and this was for... Sorry, that's not it. If this was the Dash for Cash right now, Cyber would be getting $30. Xander, $15. BD, P3. But you can see that ultimately, we have a very good field, very competitive with each other, so we can see exactly what is going to be in store for the Dash for Cash right now. But our season technically is not over yet. That will be starting next Saturday, not this coming Saturday. So this coming Saturday, we have to look at the overall power rankings. I think Cyber finally retakes that spot. A return to form, to kind of look at what I was talking about. We mentioned it briefly in the broadcast as well. He has not been on podium since Dover, which was race 10, and then 10th, 5th, 21st, 4th, so close right here, then 10th, and then back on the podium again. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It took to race 17 to get back on the podium from race 10. So I think Cyber finally takes that spot back yet again. Excellent job. In terms of other than that, I think BD takes. I don't know why I said it like that. BD. I think BD takes that second spot. He showed, especially racing with his dad in the hospital. It was just an emotional podium for him. His first podium. And from a wash of, solid to mediocre finishes, 12th, 10th, solid, average, good. First podium. He came close a couple of times, but eventually it came on down. And I think BD, is looking good at Homestead going into this next race. Another one that I think has a lot of potential at Homestead is going to be Brandon. I think he's been... The only reason I'm saying this is because he's been practicing. He views Homestead as one of his best tracks. So I think Brandon, coming fresh off of a P6 that arguably wasn't really his to begin with, but he made his way back forward from a few mistakes as well as some contact with others, and he is now in the P6 position. I think Brandon is going to be the one to watch, and the third one to watch, I should say, in Homestead. Other than that, I think another one to watch, of course, has to be, and like really everything got shaken up by Texas, but we have to look at mile and a half as well. In the grand scheme of things, I would have to probably give it to Xander in the P4 spot. Xander is one of those drivers that, yes, he makes a few mistakes, and you can actually see him right now. Made a mistake at Vegas, Talladega, Kentucky. Ever since then, he's been very good. I guess Road America was also a mistake, and then Texas. But in between that, he's either first or second. I mean, so because of that, I think you can never really count out Xander. When he has a bad race, it's usually just a fluke, and then he comes back out and wins or P2 the next day. So I think Xander is going to be the main person to have the comeback story from last week. So, but because of that, I'm putting him P4. So, I think he'll rebound. We have number 1, Cyber. 2, BD. 3, Brandon. 4, Xander. I think the 5th one going into this race, Packers. I think Packers had a very solid string of races here. Let me actually kind of show you what I mean by that. So where is Packers? He's always like somewhere. Yes, solid string of finishes. Recently, Daytona is Daytona. I don't really classify that, but even then, 4th, 6th, 5th, 9th. The Indy Road Course was a weird one for most, but P4 again at Texas. I think him racing for a title in Xfinity has kind of bolstered his drive to win, and I think he is the 5th one to watch at Homestead. Of course, being there in the past, he has won there in the past, and I think he can do so again. So Packers 5th in the power rankings. Other than that, I think the dark horse is going to be the big one. Dark horses are those that don't really, are those that have potential to get there, given the right circumstances. But no matter what, they have been the ones that have been performing well recently, and I think the number 1 definitely falls to Goose US Strike Enterprise on that. Of course, getting a podium at Road America definitely bolstered that confidence, but his 10 top 10s as well is one of the best, honestly. Of course, most is Cyber, but most of that range is like 14 to 11, and he's just shy of that. So because of that, his results recently have been pretty alright. He skipped Darlington, but P5 at the Indy Road Course. Kansas was P8. Daytona, I guess, like I said, Daytona's Daytona. P8 at Iowa, and then right here, P8 at Texas. He's been solidly in the top 10, and I think because of that, he is going to be another one to really, really watch. I know he practices for every single event that he does, and I think Goose can show a little something here for the season finale. Go out with a bang, per se. And then I think after that is going to be UK Wildcats. Again, UK has had a weird set of finishes, let me say. UK has... he's been fluctuating. He didn't show up for the Indy Road Course because he skips every road course, see? Weirdly enough. But 3rd, 12th, 3rd, 9th, and then 9th. So he's kind of declined a little bit. However, Homestead offers the drivers another chance. This is the season finale. Go out with a bang going into the Dash for Cash season. I think these guys will definitely do that, and I think UK can do that as well. He's won there in the past. Let's go and see what he can do. And so, because of that, Goose was the first one. I say UK is the second one. Like I said, everyone watching right now, this is the MRL Fastlane covering Cup at Texas. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys do enjoy what you are seeing, make sure to subscribe right here. Heat Evolution, awesome. Make sure to subscribe right here and see what we have in store. We race Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays, and we're going to be expanding to Tuesdays for customs with the new game. So hopefully we can see you guys out on track here. But definitely, I think this season is really, really good. Of course, Cyber is going to be the title's in his own hands. We're going to see what he's going to do. But either way, I will see you in the next one. Peace.